Welcome to CleftCon. Please welcome Smile Train's President and CEO, Susanna Schaefer.
Hello, everyone. I am Susanna Schaefer, President and CEO of Smile Train, and it is my privilege to welcome you all to CleftCon, the first ever conference solely by and for the cleft community. We are making history today, and I'm so excited you're all here to be part of it. We and our partners have been looking forward to this day for so many months that it's really hard to believe it's finally here. We have a full day planned, filled with speakers, roundtable discussions, open space to introduce ourselves and make new friends, a fantastic interactive exhibit hall that I encourage you all to check out, and a special art project at the end that I know I'm especially looking forward to. Of course, as we all know, everything about cleft care requires a team effort, and CleftCon is no different. That's why I'd like to give a big shout out and a very special thank you to our team at Smile Train, who worked so hard all year to put on an amazing program together for an in-person event, then was able to pivot so smoothly to make it virtual. And on behalf of the entire Smile Train family, I'd especially like to thank CleftProud, a Cleft Mommy's Bond of Friendship, and Cleft Love for helping us make today possible. Now, before we begin, I have one request of all of you, myself included, and that is that we all be open today. Make ourselves vulnerable. I know that can be hard or uncomfortable in a Zoom room filled with people you don't know yet. But you know what? We are really not strangers. We have all come together here as a community of people who are either cleft affected themselves or have dedicated their careers to this work. So let's commit ourselves to not holding back. Whoever you are, everyone is here pulling for you. Everyone here wants to see your face and hear your voice. And when you speak, I promise you, you will be heard. Together, let's make this a day of sharing and educating, of making new friends and building a community that's truly cleft strong. Okay, now are you all ready to get started? I will hand it off to my colleague Adina, who will provide an overview of the day and introduce our keynote speaker.
Hi, I'm Adina Lesher, Vice President of Community Development at Smile Train. To echo Susie, I'd like to extend a huge thank you to everyone who made this day possible. We are especially grateful to all of our speakers for sharing their personal stories and professional expertise with us. To get the most out of your experience today, please be sure to explore the CleftCon site. Here, you'll have the opportunity to record a short video sharing your own cleft journey, sit for a custom-made sketch of yourself, message with other participants and speakers, visit our exhibit hall, participate in an interactive painting activity, and much more. Please keep an eye on your account for messages about special activities that come up throughout the day. If you have any questions, technical or otherwise, please click on Account, which can be found on the top right-hand side of your screen, and then Get Support. You can also email cleftcon@smiletrain.org, and someone will get back to you right away. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce today's keynote speaker, Henry Baddour. Henry is the founder of CleftProud, an educational and emotional resource for cleft-affected people and their families. Since 2015, CleftProud has grown to become the largest resource of its kind, with more than 100,000 members in over 100 countries. Thank you, Henry, for joining us here today.
Hello, everyone. My name is Henry Baddour. I'm the founder of CleftProud and was also born with a bilateral cleft lip and palate. I'd like to start out by thanking Smile Train for having me and for having CleftProud be a part of this conference. I have wanted to have something like this happen for a long time, and so to see it come to fruition and to be a part of it is really special to me, and I hope it'll be special to you all as well. And I would also like just to point out that I hope that this speech will be more of a conversation rather than a speech itself. It's the beginning of a conversation within the cleft community. So to start out, I was born with a bilateral cleft lip and palate, and I've had over 15 surgeries related to my cleft. I knew I was different from a very young age. I was bullied and shy and pretty isolated. And I never really had a large friend group. I was always friends with a smaller group of friends. And sometimes that was on purpose and sometimes it wasn't. But that was the case. And I, like most people with a cleft, I never met anyone else with a cleft for the majority of my life. Um, and like I said, I didn't really have a ton of supportive people in my life other than my family. For example, the first person who ever came up to me solely to just give me some words of encouragement about my cleft, who I did not know, uh, was last year. So and that changed my life, and really meant the world to me. And so that is just a sentiment to the fact that you really can change someone's life with just a smile or with just a few words. Um, and so Club Proud, like I said, was founded back in 2015 after my jaw surgery, which caused me to be out of school for about 6 months. And during that time, I was very isolated, more than I usually was, given I was at home for that long, and I was missing out on a kind of vital time during my sophomore year of high school, where people were connecting, and creating relationships, and that was something I missed out on. And so, given that, I decided to look online for some sort of resource for people like me, some sort of support group. And so I looked, and I didn't find anything. All I found were resources for parents of affected children, but nothing for those children when they grew up. So I decided to use my recovery time to create Cleft Proud, given, I knew, given a child was born with a cleft, one in every 700 births, that there were a ton of other people, maybe in my exact same position, with even less support than I had. And so in that moment, I knew that I needed to do something because I didn't want anyone else to feel the same way I did, especially with less support. So that was about 5 years ago, almost six. Cleft Proud today is an educational and emotional resource for anyone affected by cleft lip and palate. We have over 90,000 followers across all platforms from over 100 countries and all 50 states. And we currently obviously offer the online community aspects of things. We also offer a scholarship, educational resources, and we also give away wristbands and items to craniofacial teams around the world, so they are able to give those things out to their patients during team days, just to kind of give that child or that family a little boost of confidence and sense of community during those super long days. And also, given the name, we really encourage and do our best to help as many people as possible become proud of who they are and what they look like, hence the name. And so, related to how I became Club Proud in my journey, like I said, I was bullied a lot, and I really let a lot of those comments affect how I viewed myself, and I really didn't help either. I had a lot of negative thoughts about myself, and especially during that jaw surgery, because I was so alone. That was really the lowest point in my life. I didn't really have anyone to talk to about a cleft. My family was great, and they were a great support system, but there's just something about talking with someone else who's been there, and I was missing that. And that really took a toll on me. Throughout my life, especially before that point, I kept a lot in. I really tried to handle it on my own, and that was the first time that I let it all go and really talked to my mom about my feelings. And a side note, I would really recommend doing that as early as possible, because that was a great moment for me. Kind of a lot of weight lifted off my shoulders. But even still, I was missing something. And so when I created Club Proud, I began to connect with people, not really on a personal level yet, but I began to connect, and just through doing that was really enough for me, and was really a turning point in my life, because I remember asking myself, why am I living like this? Why Am I letting these negative thoughts and what other people say affect how I view myself? I realized, given I had a whole lot of time to reflect during that time, that the only thing that was holding me back was myself, and I was able to change that. I was able to change my mindset, and really try to minimize my time with those who impacted me negatively. And so I really began my journey to becoming CleftProud right in that moment. I changed my mindset. I minimized time with those friends who were not as nice, and that was the beginning. And it never ends. It's a never ending process. But really, that was a really vital turning point for me. And so today, I'm really happy as can be. I feel very good about myself. I feel very confident. Um, and though I'm not gonna lie, I still have days where I really doubt myself and have some negative thoughts, but I really work hard to um, change my mindset so those days become less and less. So given I've kind of went through that journey, I wanted to give you all some advice as to how you can at least begin it. So first off, I recommend uh, finding that probably smaller group of friends who really accept you for you and love you for you, and really try to maximize your time with those friends and minimize your time with those who bring negative thoughts into your head. That's a really easy thing to begin with, and is a really life changing thing as well. Because if you minimize those negative thoughts as much as possible, it'll be way easier to kind of change your mindset and improve the way that you're thinking about yourself. And similarly, in terms of mindset, I would really push you all to try not to compare yourself to others. I know it's something we all have to work on, and it's really hard. But I think it'll make a really big difference, because we're all unique, we're all beautiful, and if we try to remember that, that is really gonna change your mindset as well, change mine. And lastly, most importantly, I think I would recommend connecting with those affected and those in your similar position through Club Proud, in person, however that may be. I recommend doing it. At the very least, I might recommend, if you see someone with a cleft down the street or in a restaurant, I really do recommend walking up to them and introducing yourself. I know with COVID, it's kind of weird, but in a normal world, I really recommend doing that. I remember the first time that I did that, really changed my mindset again. I walked up to a little boy with a cleft and had one of our wristbands and gave them to him and kind of talked to him for about 5 minutes. And he was crying and I was crying, and it was just a really cool moment. And so you never know if that is gonna change your life. You don't know what impact it's gonna have on them. So I really recommend doing that, and also similarly, it'll remind you that you're not alone. And that's also in and of itself a very impactful thing to think about. So with all that said, I challenge you all to connect with at least two other people in this conference, and begin the conversation here, and then get their contact info so you can continue this conversation. And I promise you, it'll be even more rewarding than you might even think right now. Lastly, I hope you all will use me as a resource. I would love to talk to you all about anything, and would love to be that person for you to begin with. Please reach out through any of our social media channels and/or our website. And lastly, I'd like to leave you all with a quote that I always end my speeches with, which is, "A smile is a powerful thing." And the reason behind that is that if you think about just smiling to someone down the street, even if it's not someone with a cleft, or just smiling more in general, you're giving out more happiness into the world, more kindness, more compassion. And obviously, the world really needs that right now. So that's why I always like to end end my speeches with that. So thank you all for your time. My name is Henry Baddour, and I'm CleftProud, and I hope to talk to you soon.
We hope you enjoyed this session. Please take the remaining time to visit our expo booth, get your portrait drawn, visit our video booth, or find an open discussion room. Share your smile. Post on social and tag @SmileTrain using hashtag CleftCon.